despite the billionaire bucks that were flowing into the anti-Mamdani campaign, he won pretty handily against Andrew Cuomo, which like 5 minutes ago, the Republican Party was telling us he was unbelievably corrupt and that he should be in prison. And all of a sudden, it was our duty to get the word out, to get people to vote for Cuomo somehow again. Bill Ackman almost personally ran against Mamdani, right? Bill gave $1.75 million. Michael Bloomberg also gave money to a Cuomo-affiliated super PAC. He gave $8.3 million to stop Mamdani, and it didn't matter. The Airbnb co-founder, Joseph Gebbia, gave $3.1 million. It didn't matter. The Tisch family gave $1.2 million. It didn't matter. Still, Mamdani won. Why? Okay, if we're being honest, he probably won during the first mayoral debate. Okay, just like if I reflect upon 2016, Trump kind of won in the first Republican debate because he was just kind of saying F you to the establishment, and it was pretty apparent.
The war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. They lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first?
I would visit the Holy Land.
I would go to Israel.
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies.
My first trip to Israel, my wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my young son Miles' bar mitzvah.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not as a
say it
Jewish
has
state.
a right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear
his
on
answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No, I'm like...
Just like, this is our country, you guys. I love Israel more. No, I love Israel more. No, I love Israel more. But I guess the bigger, broader question is, why didn't MAGA? Why didn't MAGA? Why didn't MAGA do the thing? We've infiltrated MAGA and we told them to do what we want, and we wanted them to all make posts, anti-Mamdani posts. The answer is pretty obvious. We don't recognize this MAGA, okay? MAGA needs a new leader. Like I said, you lost the party. MAGA got fractured, not when Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes, but when Donald Trump looked at us in our faces and said, Epstein who? That's when it was game over. Because Israel first is a cancer cell. It is a cancer cell, left or right, to everything and everyone that wants to play around with it. It is a radical psychosis that has manifested itself within both parties.
Now that Zohran Mamdani has won the New York City mayoral race, it's only a matter of time before brands start capitalizing on his victory. Big beauty and fashion have always preyed on cultural moments for profit, but at S Squared, we remember everything. Let's look back at the companies that tried to keep Mamdani out of power. The Estee Lauder family poured $2.6 million into efforts to block Mamdani's win. Estee Lauder is a beauty monopoly controlling over 25 global beauty brands. Then there's Michael Kors, who personally donated $50,000 to the pro-Cuomo PAC. And beyond money, there's influence. Instagrammer Daniel Bernstein, the founder of We Wore What, publicly urged her followers not to vote for Mamdani. In the end, shopping is always political. Every purchase fuels someone's power, and commerce and ideology are never far apart.
If you don't think politics in the United States is corrupt, you need to be paying attention to the New York City mayoral race. And I want you guys to see the vitriol that is being spewed against Zohran Mamdani from media owned by billionaires, the elites, and politicians on both the Democratic and Republican side. But let me list off some of the promises that Zohran Mamdani is running on that has these people scared. The biggest thing he's running on is affordable housing for New Yorkers. He's also running on free public transportation. He also wants to establish free universal childcare for children under the age of 5. And he wants to increase the tax on the wealthy. But because this man is running on not prioritizing the rich and has successfully run a people first campaign, I want to show you some of the responses that he's gotten. Billionaire-owned New York Post and the Daily News have constantly run smear campaigns against Zohran since he started running. The New York Post is constantly using that scary word that Americans don't actually know the meaning of, calling him a communist whenever they get the chance. And I want to directly quote the New York Daily News so you guys can see what we're dealing with. His campaign is a house of cards built on sound bites and laced with anti-Semitism. but he stumbles and dodges when asked to venture beyond his surface level focus on affordability and his four and only four narrow planks: childcare, buses, rent, and grocery stores. Because God forbid a politician who is a public servant meant to serve the public wants to make food affordable, housing affordable, childcare affordable, and transportation affordable. The horror. House Democrats getting paid by the Israeli lobby failed to endorse him. And another lipless and spineless AIPAC mouthpiece, Florida Representative Randy Fine, who has received more than $500,000 from the pro-Israel lobby, has decided that he wants to strip Zoran Mamdani of his U.S. citizenship by denaturalizing him. Donald Trump does not want this man to win. And I just want you guys to see what happens in the United States when a politician actually runs on serving the people. Look at the response to this man, who comparatively is not even that radical. But we are seeing the true face of the United States right now. That politics is not actually for the people. It's for billionaires and the elite to stay in power and to get richer, while the rest of us suffer. And while the gullible and the uneducated amongst us continues to eat this bullshit up.
Behind me is the Seagram's building in Manhattan. Once home to the liquor company, it recently hosted a summit of billionaires thirsty to buy an election. Elites are terrified of Zoran Mamdani, so they burned $25 million to back disgraced former Governor Andrew Cuomo during the primary. Now they're at it again. There are a lot of them. So let's stick to 5 Cuomo donors who might shock you. Cuomo's super PAC received 2 $100,000 donations from Alice Walton, heiress of the Walton clan, the founders of Walmart and America's richest family. Walton is a major player in right-wing politics, pouring tens of millions of dollars into Republican campaigns and think tanks, like the Koch's Americans for Prosperity. But check out her address. Alice Walton lives in Bentonville, Arkansas. Why does she care about what happens in New York City politics? She's only ever donated to a New York election once before. Back in 2020, when she gave $800,000 to a conservative group backing 2 candidates who supported charter schools. And that's key, because the Walton family has been on a decades-long crusade to privatize America's public schools, pouring billions of dollars into the effort. Cuomo was a charter school champion and fought to create more of them. He's back at it too, while Mamdani opposes school privatization. Speaking of heirs, Cuomo's super PAC has also recently received $500,000 checks from both William Lauder and John B. Hess. Lauder is the CEO of the cosmetics company founded by his grandmother, Estee Lauder, and nephew of Ronald Lauder, a Trump mega donor who twice ran for mayor himself as a Republican. As for Hess, he's the CEO of his dad, Leon Hess's oil company, which just got sold to Chevron. He's also a big Republican donor, pouring millions of dollars into their political operations. He's now given $750K to fix the city, the Cuomo super PAC. Funny enough, Lauder and Hess are neighbors at 778 Park Avenue, one of the city's most exclusive addresses. Here's another fun connection. Alberto Mugrabi is the scion of the billionaire art trading family that owns the world's largest collection of Andy Warhol paintings, one of which they sold to Alice Walton for a cool $57 million back in 2013. Oh, and then there's Edward Stern, who made history by being the first Wall Street operator to be charged with fraudulent trading by former Attorney General Eliot Spitzer. Incidentally, Cuomo followed Spitzer as the state's AG, and let's just say he wasn't nearly as aggressive with policing Wall Street. Not all of the contributions were direct either. Jeff Blau, the most powerful developer in New York City, is reportedly waving a 7-figure job at Mayor Eric Adams, hoping to get him to drop out. Donald Trump has also reportedly considered offering Adams a plum position, perhaps an ambassadorship, if he'll step aside to help Cuomo. And if polling holds, it may be the only job that Andrew Cuomo creates in New York City this year.
He's spending more money against me than I would even tax him. Every day it's like $1 million, like $1 million. I'm like, Habibi, I don't even want that. You're going above and beyond.
26 billionaires have poured over $22 million into stopping Zoran Mamdani campaign for New York Mayor. Bloomberg, Ackman, Walton, Wynn, Lauder. The list reads like a billionaire panic roll call. They're not donating out of civic duty. They're defending a system that's finally being challenged. And this tweet is from Brian Allen. And I think he really phrased that well. And here's the list of people here. Of course, we have the Home Depot founder. Lowe's is in on this. Estee Lauder, Airbnb, lots of Steve Wynn casinos, all of these hedge fund fuckers, and just the Walmart heir goes in on this. Think about this.
So you heard that list, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the top 10% richest people who, some of them, they donate to all these charities and would have you believe that they're so damn charitable, but they're not. Most people who voted for Republicans and continue to fall for the banana in the tailpipe don't understand that when they give to charities, it is a huge tax write-off. If they had to be given and not get a tax write-off, they would be doing what they're doing to Zoran. He wants to increase taxes 2% on those folks. Imagine this. You're going to increase taxes 2% on the top 10 richest people in New York. And that would help the bottom 90% increase their quality of life. Better health care, better schools, better work conditions, better housing, a complete populist voting agenda. And they are fighting like hogs about to be on the slaughtering table to not have this happen. So how charitable are they? How much do they really care about their fellow Americans? They don't. They're telling you everything you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. And what the Democrats need to do, they have got to get behind this message of Zoran Mandani, because not only is he getting the vote of progressives, he's also getting the vote of those that voted for Donald Trump. And not only that, my man has a swagger about himself that reminds me of Barack Obama, only he's way more progressive. And right now, the American people need more progressive. Everything has gone up. Trump promised prices would go down. We tried to warn y'all that that shit was a lie. Kamala promised that she was going to come out and give money for people to get a first-time home. I think she was going to do 25 to 50,000. That wasn't good enough. You voted for Trump. A lot of y'all over hate, and now you're seeing that your hate has a price. So folks, post your comments. Let me know what you think about Zoran standing up for the people and all these corporations that are just like fighting him tooth and nail over 2% when they always are being fucking hypocrites talking about they love to give to charity.
At least 26 billionaires spent over $22 million to stop Zoran Mamdani from becoming New York's mayor. According to Forbes, at least 26 billionaires have poured over $22 million into campaigns trying to block Mamdani, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist who says billionaires shouldn't exist. But here's the twist. 2 billionaires actually backed him. Elizabeth Simons, daughter of hedge fund legend Jim Simons, donated $250,000 to a group supporting Mamdani, and GitHub co-founder Tom Preston Werner threw in $20,000 of his own. Together, they make up 10% of the total money raised by Mamdani's biggest supporting group, going against Wall Street, Silicon Valley, and even Michael Bloomberg. While billionaires lined up to block him, these two saw something different, a political shift led by Gen Z, not money.
10 billionaires teamed up to stop Zoran Mamdani from winning, but he used just 3 moves to make their $100 million go down the drain. While ordinary people cheered for Zoran's victory, the rich were busy spitting on him. 50 Cent shouted, "RIP NYC." Michael Rappaport looked like he'd been struck by lightning, and Deborah Messing was bawling on social media like the world was ending tomorrow. Poor Michael Bloomberg and the other billionaires, they just wasted $100 million. Zoran spent just a tenth of what they raised and still won it all. The main reason is that 34-year-old Zoran knew the internet was way more powerful than traditional media. The rich were only willing to dump money into expensive TV ads. Zoran, on the other hand, made short videos, walked the streets in 40-degree heat wearing a thick suit, rode shared bikes, crouched down to talk to disabled people, and even talked to an Egyptian cat in Egyptian. The billionaires couldn't touch that, so almost everyone online became his fan. Second, Zoran's wife, Sarah Aziza, was his lucky charm. She's not just a pretty face, and definitely not one of those heiresses voters hate. More importantly, to let ordinary people run the city, he had already drafted hundreds of tax plans. He even donated $20 million from his own $50 million fortune to show his commitment. That way, the rich had no excuse to attack him.